Greetings Internet and welcome to Aaron Plays, and I hope you're doing fantastically well. This will be an episode of Ambush by Victory Games, Mission 2. We're just about to enter a operations phase. I think it's episode 15. I keep losing track when I'm re-recording or recording this afresh, so yeah, but we've just completed the rounds where we took out Nyman and the two Germans on the ridge. So there's no active Germans on the map, so we now move, as I say, to operations. Current status, I am at 19 victory points. However, I am 3 men incapacitated. None KIA yet, but I have to get them to the building. Let's go out the map, but beforehand do all the likes, the subscribe, comments and the little ding-a-ling. It all helps promote the channel. Let's go down to the map. So quick on-map recap. I need to place a green mark here. We've taken all these buildings here. We're halfway through taking through this building. We haven't done the church yet. And to be honest, I'm not too inclined to go down there. And we've currently got a couple of wounded guys in here. With the squad leader, Bell and Evans. Dylan, been the hero so far of the piece, and Cornwall are here. 3 incapacitated Germans, the sniper that's incapacitated as well. If we get this guy back into here, we'll get an additional victory point, because then we'll have captured him. So that's where we are at the moment. Darn it, just done a recheck of the victory points, and that meant, no, the scenario ends in one of 2 ways. Way 1, I enter every building hex on the map and then get back to this building, then the scenario ends, and if I have 25 or more victory points, I win the scenario. Option 2 is I get all the men off the map between those 2 hexes without going through all the buildings, and then the scenario ends, and if I have 25 or more victory points, I win the scenario. So not going through the church down here at the bottom only becomes an option if I exit the map. But there's no, well, I've got 3 guys in this hex here with the Jeep, so we might as well put them there now. I've left them off to avoid clutter. There's no way I'm going to be able to drag those 3 off the map, because every hex that they get dragged through, carried, whichever way you look at it, they roll a dice, and on a 0 they die. There's more likelihood that I can get them to this building. Nice if the Jeep was working, or if the driver who was in charge of the Jeep wasn't KIA. So that means I have to go to the church. Darn, didn't want to do that. If there was any place that the Germans could ambush, is here or covering here. Though I would have thought, well, you know, if I can sneak all the way up to 1 hex within the machine gun nest and then get ambushed. Yeah, so that might be the way to approach the church, is through these woods, come down. Yeah, That's the way I'm going to approach it. Come through the woods, going into the church, hopefully not too much of a firefight with whatever's there, and then get back to those buildings. Yeah, I have a definite tone of resignation there because, oh man, it was a good job I double checked the victory conditions. The wording is so precise. The scenario only ends when I've gone through all the buildings and then they're all in there. Then it ends, and if I have 25 victory points, game over. Or I exit the map, then game over, and if I have 25 victory points, I win. We'll go for the lesser of two evils, because I need to get those guys to the railway station. As we're in operations phase, I can do things in any order I wish, so let's get Hudson off his arse and finish exploring that building. So we're in, as I say, operations, and we will enter with Hudson. You're going to a crouch, that hex there, which is Q7, Q6, Q5. Reading the paragraph for Q5. Right, it's citing 5, which we've already had, so there's nothing additional. So that building is now completely mine. And I'm going to put, do I have any more green cubes? I do. A green cube in there. Well done, Hudson. And that's another 3 VP. Taking my total to 22. Okay, so Dylan he hasn't got any capacity to carry anybody because his auto rifle takes up 2 slots. Neither's Cornwall. Neither's Bell. This is interesting. Neither's Evans. He's wounded. Fitzpatrick's out of action. The only person who can carry actually anybody is Hudson. I mean, Cornwall could put down his satchel. In fact, that's what we're going to do. Okay. Cornwall crawls into here, then into here, puts down his satchel chart. Oh, I have to do a paragraph drop. I haven't been in this hex before. 3, 12, 11, 10, 9. V8. That's where the Germans initially were. V8. Again, paragraph or citing 5, which we've had. All right, so at that point, he puts down his satchel charge and picks up the German. And then starts dragging him. Now, we've been in U9, so I don't have to check that hex. But we're rolling now to see if he gets there. As in, on a 0, he's incapacitated. Now I'm going to roll it here. First hex. So as he's dragging him, the coughs and dies. Well, okay. Well, that solves that little conundrum, doesn't it? Trying to save the guy, dude's life, and he dies on the spot. Cornwallis' confidence has sunk a little bit. Okay. Shit, he says, shit. Okay. into here, into here, and into here. You can only do one guy at a time. So he starts with Gibson, brings him into this hex. He's probably going to be standing. That's a 5. R9. That's a 2. Whatever that hex is. It's another 2. It's all gone quiet. He's dragging Gibson. I've been in all these hexes, that's why I'm not checking the paragraphs. Actually, maybe I should, because now there could be events. Couldn't they? Alright, P8 and P7. Oh, P8, P7. Okay, I'll just double check those hex references. They all refer back to this tank. So yeah, you can definitely see the tank. And I did it for all these rows. So into this hex here, P6. Done. And the test for the hex. It's a 4. And then finally into there. That's a 5. Right, so Gibson gets back. Everyone else is basically having a cigarette break. Dylan is keeping watch with his Browning. There's a bit of groaning coming from over here, but we're not too bothered about those Germans. The one we were bothered about died. Cornwall makes his way back. Slowly. Gets to here. Meanwhile, I really don't want to start approaching down here with probably one of my most able men. Yeah, Hudson, meanwhile, comes here, crawls back this route. Okay, we've got 2 of them. Let's do this. Hudson will carry Fitzpatrick. Cornwall will carry the squad leader. They enter this hex, and I'm going to roll 2 dice. The blue dice is Ambrose. They both make it that far, first hex. Next hex, R9. Blue dice is Ambrose. Both okay. There's an eerie silence descending on the battlefield. Next hex. Both okay. Next. We're now here. Both make it. Both Cornwall and Hudson breathing very heavily. We get here. No. Ambrose is okay, but Fitzpatrick dies. It was a long way to drag him. Fitzpatrick bleeds out. Hudson doesn't realise it though. He's not the brightest spark in the bundle, is he? We get to this hex. Ambrose. Okay. The last hex. Ambrose is in the building and is safe. We lost Fitzpatrick along the way. 20 meters. 20 meters. So, that's Fitzpatrick, KIA, and Ambrose brought back. That building's still taken. In the meantime, we have Bell, who's wounded, Evans, who's wounded, sometimes these little fiddly little counters. Bell shouldn't be carrying the satchel charge. So he got wounded there, so he would have dropped the satchel charge in that hex. And he carry 1 portage point. He will actually go back into the building. Evans will join him. Okay. Cornwall will start making his way via the path that we know is safe and goes and re-picks up his satchel charge. Dylan, as I say, has been keeping watch. Hudson will come down and get into that building there. Okay, the church. I'm really worried about this, man. But, well, we've got to do it. So, Dylan goes into a crouch and enters this hex here. It's V13, V12, V11, V10. This is all new hexes. They're still citing 5. U11. Getting a good sight on the church. Still citing 5, which we've already had. I'm not keeping command control here at the present moment due to the fact that, well, I suppose we could have Bell moving up going, go in the building, Dylan. U12. Nothing, still on about that citing 5. Okay, we'll bring Cornwall the same route, all in a crouch, getting them to here. And then we will bring Hudson guiding them. I think we'll leave Evans. No, if we're going to have a firefight, bring them all. So they're all in low crawl. No standing here, boys. Stay down. Get to the church. Suss it out. And then... So that's S10. We're going with a full squad. S11. I don't like this open ground, but there we go. Still that sighting 5. No sightings coming from the church itself. Okay. S12. Still that sighting 5. So if there is any Germans there, they'll be very, very quiet. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit on that church. Who's the most perceptive guy I've got? Cornwall's got perception of 5. Bell, he's wounded those, but he's got perception of 6. Yeah, Hudson, do we send Hudson in? No. Okay. Looks like it's Cornwall. With a satchel charge. T12. I don't like this. Still referring to that sighting 5, which we've already had. So, sighting wise, we've got sighting 0, 6, 8 and 9 still to come. So our hush has descended around the village of Chasoul. US soldiers are approaching the church. One of the flaws, well, I wouldn't say it's a flaw. One of the things I think should be, I should be able to look through that windy and see what's in there. I can't. It would tell me if there's anything that I could see from this hex. So the only way I can determine what's going on there is to go through. Now this is a window. Or is it actually, that's a door. There's a door here. That's a window up there. Right, that makes a bit of sense. It's too gloomy in there. Cornwall can't tell. Okay. He enters S13 very cautiously, ground floor of the church. S13. Okay. That still refers to its sighting S5, which is the one that was up the top here. Okay. Is there no one in the church? Let's not make assumptions, because we know what an assumption is, don't we? Right, these will come to here. Now I noticed that there isn't a definition for upstairs. Let me see what happens, how I actually determine what's upstairs. Okay, there is no movement rules for going upstairs, so I think it must be only one location, but it's just got 2 stories, so you declare what story you're at. So there's no separate paragraph for it or hex thing on the paragraph search. So okay, so it's actually one location, but with 2 stories doing things with lines of sight and so on. There's no like staircase or any rules regarding going up and down. So his class has been in both. So I don't have to search upstairs because there is technically no upstairs. So that just leaves S14. Could this church be absolutely empty? It's giving me no sighting checks, or there's a German in there that's really, really sneaky. But then again, those machine gun posts, there was really, really sneaky. Okay, I'm going to bring Dylan maybe a little bit more around here. So he's going to go into V12. just in case. Give some covering fire. You never know, there could be a German here that decides, yeah, tries to bug out. So, V12. Still referring to that number 5 sighting. Okay. W13. There's actually none. Alright, I'm having these guys come down here. That's T13. I could be doing all this precaution. There's no one there, but as you've seen, when I do something a bit off the cuff, boom, that's when the system hits me. So again, S5 sighting, so they're still seeing some stuff over there. All right. Keep moving, Dylan. W14. Nope, nothing extra there. W15. Nothing additional there. So if any Germans come out here, we're ready for them. Covering the door. No. Alright, here goes. S14. Inner crouch. S14. Well, that's definitely taking me to a paragraph 016. Okay, there's someone there, or something. I wonder if it's another bunch of sparrows. 016. Booby trap. Found a bloody booby trap. Conduct the booby trap procedure. Oh man, what is the booby trap procedure? I've read this entire rule book, so I've read the section on minefields and booby traps. I didn't even think about a minefield or a booby trap. Hex go boom! Or does it? Let's find out. Booby trap procedure. When a US soldier enters a hex during operations or rounds, a paragraph may state that the hex contains a booby trap sent by the Germans. Bloody Germans. Learned it from the Russians. The first US soldier to enter such a hex must immediately conduct a PC check. Right, so Cornwall's perception is 5. So any modifiers. If the check succeeds, the soldier is unaffected and the booby trap no longer exists in the hex. Man, okay. Well, good job that this wasn't Hudson then. 5 or less. Man, he sees the booby trap. If the check had failed, the booby trap would have exploded and the soldier suffers damage hit by an exploding grenade indoors. It no longer exists. He clears it. Cuts the wire. So there's no Germans down there. They just bloody booby trapped the place. Wow, that was quite tense. Okay, so no Germans in that building. We gain control of that building. And looks like it's only 2 locations, so that's worth 2 VP. That takes me to 24. Okay. So I think we're going to proceed back. Oh, we've got the effectively this area to take out, and then we've done the village. Okay. There's no point loitering down here or the southern map edge. I mean, there could be Germans down there, but we don't know. But we're not going to loiter down there. We have a job to do. Okay, I'm going to be cautious still. Dylan, V14. We haven't been in that hex. Again, this is where I say, I doubt there's anything. There's a bloody German observing there, and he comes out and bites my bum. But there isn't. Okay. U14. Nope. He comes back into here. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move these. I'm not going to check every paragraph. Back into this hex here. They're going to go the route that they've been. There's been no events. And they all get slowly, gradually back to that hex there. And Cornwall. I'll get this guy's name right eventually. And they're all in that hex there. Whew. Right, I'm going to call that the end of this video and then start the next one. Let me bring you guys back up. That was rather tense, going for that church. I had to do it, as I said at the beginning of the video. First I didn't realise I had to. Well, I read the victory conditions, but that was a couple of weeks ago. Double checking them, yeah, it clarified that I have to go through every building if I want to win or exit the map. It was a pity about Fitzpatrick, losing him when we were dragging him through the town into the railway station. But when I was set up to investigate the last 4 buildings and hopefully get back to the railway station intact to end the scenario. So 24 victory points. I believe having Fitzpatrick die is going to cost me 2 or 3. I can't remember exactly. There's enough victory points on the map. Unless we encounter any more Germans, of course. Then there'll be more victory points. Whew. Sorry, I'm just getting... Yes, it's cardboard, it's paper, but what's going on in here is, you know, every hex that's been important, I've been ambushed. I lost the Jeep. Ambro's been shot at by that machine gun nest. So it's like, and yeah, there's only 2 maps in this ambush, so maybe in scenario 3 that church could be ramjacked full of Germans. But in this particular scenario, all there was they left a booby trap. And as it says on my cup, unless that's backwards, it's unbelievably hard. This is not an easy game. It's not easy. Rules-wise, yeah, it's sort of all right, but the decision-making that's involved, and I'm going to go through this when I do a review at the end of this scenario. For a solo game made in the 80s, there's a lot of decisions that are going to be made. I've tried quite a few solo games, such as the Hunters, B-17, and their narrative, go along, roll the dice, see what happens. There's very few decisions to make. I tried some of the DVG Leader series, Phantom Leader, and it was pretty much, you know, everything was in the planning beforehand, you know, what weapons to carry and such forth. And then, but once you're actually playing, it was almost on remote control. But in this, nearly every hex, I have a decision. Who's going to go forward? Whose weapons, the fire groups and such forth. And for a solo game, Yes, there are flaws. I mean, as I said, would like to have a recon by fire. I'd like to be able to look into a hex, but that, I presume, would make it far too complex. They did an absolutely stunning job on this back in the 80s. Absolutely. And yeah, Mr. Butterfield, genius. A toast to you. I don't know, you'll never see this probably, but man, you were well ahead of your time. Anyway, so we've got one, maybe one, depends if he goes to operations, at least one more episode to do in this. And so you can do all the YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, hit the dingling, and any comments much appreciated down below. Until next time, have fun, play games, get this one, and bye internet.